If you want to look at the full damage that Beijing's economic coercion can do, Hong Kong is the best example. To understand Hong Kong's recent political transformation and the almost total dismantling of its freedoms, autonomy and rule of law in flagrant violation of an international treaty, you need to understand Hong Kong's economy and how it's changed. You need to, as Dean has said, follow the money. The huge influx of mainland Chinese money and assets, what we call red capital, into Hong Kong, combined with the increased dependency of many international firms on Chinese markets, has meant that when Beijing made the endorsement of its draconian national security law, which it imposed on Hong Kong almost a year ago, when it made that a red line issue for businesses, the majority of businesses fell into line. Mainland firms now make up 60% of the Hong Kong stock market, and increasingly they provide a model for their Western and local Hong Kong competitors for how to curry favor with Beijing. International firms are faced with the unpleasant choice of whether to follow their principles and risk economic punishment or kowtow. Cathay Pacific, for example, was almost forced into bankruptcy when some of their employees attended protests in 2019. And that shows the dangers for firms who have already made themselves dependent on access to CCP-run China. The influx of red capital touches on every sphere of life. The media in Hong Kong is now more or less universally controlled by pro-CCP vested interests. As Jimmy Lai, who now sits in prison and just a week ago saw his assets frozen, and he hasn't even been convicted yet under the national security law charges, we see the last leading pro-democracy media outlet in Hong Kong in jeopardy, not because it doesn't have readers, but because of economic coercion. Red firms instruct employees on how to vote or not to attend protests. Employees who fail to toe the party line in companies in Hong Kong lose their jobs. Hong Kong is the starkest example, but it is far from the only place where red capital is shifting power dynamics. The British government should be alarmed that a British bank, HSBC, has so publicly undermined the UK's foreign policy objectives by siding with the Chinese government. Beijing's stranglehold over powerful vested interests in the City of London further hinders a coherent UK-China policy. The European Union faces similar dilemmas. Following the mass sell-off of public assets in the Mediterranean during the Eurozone crisis, Chinese state-owned enterprises have bought up large amounts of strategic infrastructure, whether that's in Greece, Portugal, Cyprus, or beyond. Hong Kong shows how red capital is frequently co-opted for political united front ends.